Today, we're going to talk about some adjectives in Spanish and how they get a bit complicated because of gender and number. I'm Daniel Welsh. This is Learn Spanish with Daniel. Welcome to my sofa in beautiful Barcelona. Let's talk about gender and number because in English, if you have a simple adjective like red is going to be the same no matter what the number of objects you're talking about is. You can have one red car, you can have two red cars. In Spanish, things get a bit more complicated because a car is masculine, obviously, and because it can be singular or plural. So you have un coche rojo and dos coches rojos. If you were talking about something that is feminine, like a camiseta, a t-shirt, then the adjective would also be feminine. Una camiseta roja, dos camisetas rojas. So, the one word red can be rojo, it can be roja, it can be rojos, and it can be rojas, depending on the gender and number of the thing or things in question. This can be a little bit complicated if you're talking and you have to think about, not only the word for the thing you want to talk about, but also its gender and number so you can use the adjective correctly. Luckily, the adjective usually comes after the thing in Spanish, so you can come up with the word and then think about the adjective. Dos coches rojos. Rojos comes after the thing. Two cars, red. So let's try a few more of those. We could talk about un hombre alto. We could also talk about dos hombres altos. One tall man, two tall men. Un hombre alto, dos hombres altos. We could talk about una mujer alta, and we could talk about dos mujeres altas. Two tall women, one tall woman, two tall women. Una mujer alta, dos mujeres altas. Varias mujeres altas. Several tall women. Gender and number once again. So alto, alta for the gender, altas and altos for the number, if we're talking about a plural. We could talk about un restaurante caro o dos restaurantes caros. One expensive restaurant, One expensive restaurant and two expensive restaurants. En aquella calle hay dos restaurantes caros. In that street, there are two expensive restaurants, for example. We could talk about una camisa cara or dos camisas caras. Camisa, like camiseta, is feminine. It's shirt, not t-shirt, but shirt. So, restaurant masculine, shirt feminine, and then the gender and the number. I was originally going to make a video about mucho and muchas and muchos today, and then I thought maybe I just do the adjectives. But if you wanted to say, en aquella calle hay muchos restaurantes caros, also the muchos has to agree in gender or number because, it's a lot, but a lot is also an adjective that agrees in gender and number with the thing in question. So it gets a little bit complicated here. We could talk about un libro barato. We could talk about dos libros baratos. Barato is cheap, so un libro barato, a cheap book. Dos libros baratos, two cheap books. Muchos libros baratos, many cheap books, or a lot of cheap books. If we're talking about pizza is feminine. Una pizza barata, dos pizzas baratas, 10 pizzas baratas, 10 cheap pizzas. So barato and barata for cheap. That's the basic idea here. The only question is that some adjectives are neutral, so you don't change the gender, but you would change the number. The examples that I have here: un hombre feliz, una mujer feliz. Feliz is happy, it is gender neutral. Also, triste is gender neutral. Triste is sad. Un hombre triste, dos hombres tristes. The number changes, but the gender doesn't. Una mujer triste, dos mujeres tristes. The number changes, the gender doesn't. So, un hombre feliz, dos hombres felices, una mujer feliz, dos mujeres felices. Feliz and felices are the two examples. There is some rule that determines the Z changing to C thing there, from feliz to felices. I'm sure there's a good explanation. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll get back to you. Finally, today we have grande. Grande is big, as you probably know, and grande is also gender neutral. So, una casa grande, dos casas grandes. Grande changes by number, but not by gender. Un coche grande, dos coches grandes. Un hombre grande, dos hombres grandes. Una mujer grande, dos mujeres grandes. You know, a big woman. Why not? So that's gender neutral. Pequeña, the opposite, is small. That is a gendered adjective. Un hombre pequeño, una mujer pequeña. Bueno, un niño, vamos a poner, let's say, child. Un niño pequeño, una niña pequeña, dos niños pequeños, dos niñas pequeñas, varias niñas pequeñas. Muchas niñas pequeñas, gender and number all across the board there. Muchas niñas pequeñas. Muchas is feminine, niñas is feminine, pequeñas is feminine, and they're all plural also. So, I think this is called concordancia. It's adjective agreement is what we call it in English. Concordancia. It's a big topic in Spanish. We'll talk about it more some other day. I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to the channel. You can like this video. You can listen to my podcast, Spain to Go. It's also right here on YouTube. There's a special podcast playlist. You can go to expatmadrid.com/donate to donate some money to the cause here. I don't really have anything to sell you. I might come up with something eventually, but for now, I do this for free, and you are welcome to donate. I appreciate every euro you can send my way. expatmadrid.com/donate. Also on the blog, expatmadrid.com, I have a lot of articles about Spain, life in Madrid and Barcelona, etc. So, have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye.